All right, now we're going to look at combinations of probabilities, specifically using the words not and or. This is not using not and or, just not and or. Probabilities using the word not and probabilities using the word or. We're not using the word and, okay. And is later. So anyway, not and or, all right? That was probably confusing. I think I confused myself. But anyway, here we go. So basically the negation. Now we saw a lot of this sort of thing when we talked about sets earlier in the semester, but now we're going to look at probabilities with not. So negations of things. An example, we looked at the probability of being dealt a spade, right, from a 52 card deck, the probability of being dealt a spade or cutting the deck and seeing a spade. In theory, the empirical probability was 1/4, right? In fact, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say that I'm going to call that S for spade, right? And did I say empirical? The theoretical probability is 1/4. The empirical probability, which we tried to do in a video, didn't come out very close to 1/4, but the theoretical probability is 1/4. And so if I wanted to find the probability of being dealt something other than a spade, or I might say not a spade, right? That gets my not in there. Well, that's going to be, well, you could think of it as the sum of the other suits, the sum of the probabilities of the other suits, or more simply, 1 minus that one. Okay, so it's going to be the probability of not S is going to be 1 minus the probability of S. Okay, and that's always going to be the case. The probability of something not happening is always 1 minus the probability of something actually happening. And so in this case, probability of not S would be 1 minus 1/4, which is equivalent to 3/4. Okay. Now, you could get that from adding the 1/4 from the 3 other suits, right? Hearts are 1/4, diamonds are 1/4, clubs are 1/4. You add them up, you get 3/4. But this is just kind of a simple example to show you that the probability of not something is 1 minus the probability of that thing. Okay, whatever that set is, whatever that event is. All right, and that's true for every event. Okay, so it doesn't matter what the event is. The probability of it not happening is 1 minus the probability of it happening. Now, if you take the probability of all the individual events taking place, they should all add up to 1, right? So the probability of all the individual suits occurring add up to 1. So the probability that I would get a spade, club, heart, or diamond is 1. I'm going to get one of those 4, right? It's a certainty. And so that's why if you take this particular one off of 1, you get the probability of everything else, right? So so that gives you an idea with the not, how to find the probability, just a shortcut, especially if you don't know all of the other probabilities. If you only know the one probability, then you can find it very quickly, all right? Otherwise, you have to know all the other probabilities, and that gets more complicated when you have multiple other probabilities to try to add together.